Once upon a time in a big city, there lived a young girl of 15 years old named Chioma. Chioma was the only child of her parents, Chief Okoye and his wife. Both are wealthy, loving, and they gave her everything she could ever want. Her life was filled with beautiful clothes, gifts, and delicious food. She has a house, two shiny cars, and all her friends envied her. But one fateful day, everything changed. Chioma's parents had to travel out of the town for a business trip. They promised to return with gifts, but they never made it back. Tragedy struck as the car had a terrible accident and both of her parents died. Chioma was left all alone with no one to care for her. News of the accident reached her uncle, Mr. Ikediwe, who lived in the village. He quickly came to the city, but not to comfort her or help her. Instead, he sold all her parents' properties, the houses, the cars, and all their belongings. He took the money and moved Chioma to the village to live with him, his wife, and their children. Chioma hoped to find love and comfort with her uncle's family, but instead she found pains. Life in the village was nothing like the city. Her uncle's wife was mean and treated her like a trash. The children, her cousins, were cruel. They laughed at her, poured water on her, and made fun of her old clothes. Ever since Chioma arrived in the village, she hadn't changed her clothes because her uncle's family refused to give her new ones. They made her do all the house choices, fetch water from the stream, sweep the house, and cook. Chioma was no longer the princess she once was. She had become a slave in her own uncle's house. Every night, Chioma cried herself to sleep. Missing her late parents, she ate only the leftover from her cousin's plate. They live in luxury, while Chioma lives in rag. But despite all the hardship, Chioma remained kind and hopeful. She remembered how her parents used to tell her that one day things would get better. One day, Mr. Ikediwe and his wife came up with a wicked plan. They decided to sell Chioma as a slave to another kingdom far away. She is of no use, they said, but at least we can get money from selling her. Without warning, they sold Chioma to a farmer in a distant land. The farmer took her away, and Chioma found herself in a strange place, working harder on the farmland. Her hands became rough from tilling the soil, and her feet ached from walking barefoot on the rocky path. But even in her misery, Chioma was kind to other slaves. She laughed with them, shared her food, and helped them with their works. The other slaves loved her because she was gentle and good-hearted. One sunny morning, as Chioma was walking on the farm, the prince of the kingdom, Prince Nnamdi, was strolling through the street with his guards. He was a handsome young man with kind eyes. As he walked by, something caught his attention. It was Chioma. Despite her ragged clothes and dirty appearance, there was something about her that stood out. The beauty, though hidden, shone through. The prince stopped, asked one of his guards, "Who is that girl?" One of the guards went to call Chioma, and when she approached, she greeted the prince with respect. Prince Nnamdi felt his heart fluttered. He had never seen anyone like her. Though she looked poor and tired, there was a grace about her that drew him in. It was love at first sight. He smiled at her and said to her, "What is your name?" "My name is Chioma," she replied shyly. From that moment, Prince Nnamdi couldn't stop thinking about Chioma. He visited her often, bring her food and clothes, and they became good friends. But deep down, he knew he wanted her to be more than just a friend. He wanted her to be his queen. One day, he went to his mother, the queen, and said, "Mother, I have found the woman I want to marry." The queen was excited at first, but when she heard that her son wanted to marry a slave, she was furious. "A slave? You want to marry a commoner? Never! You are a prince. You can choose from the beautiful maidens of our land, not a poor girl who was bought to work on the farmland." Prince Nnamdi was determined. He went to his father, the king, and asked for his blessing. The king was curious. "Bring her to me," he said. When Chioma was brought to him, the king looked at her closely and asked, "Who are your parents?" Chioma, with tears in her eyes, replied, "My parents were Chief Okoye and his wife, they died in a car accident 2 years ago. The king gasped in shock. Chief Okoye, the famous businessman, he was my very good friend. The king stood up and embraced Chioma. He now understands who she was, a daughter of a great man, not just any slave. You have my blessing, he said to his son. Marry her and let the kingdom celebrate. Word spread quickly that Prince Nnamdi was going to marry Chioma, the slave girl who was actually the daughter of a great chief. Preparation for the traditional wedding began. The people from far and near came to witness the event. The kingdom was filled with excitement. Chioma's wicked uncle, Mr. Ikediwe, and his family were also invited. When they arrived at the wedding and saw that the bride was Chioma, they couldn't believe their eyes. Their jaws dropped in shock. How could this girl they sold out for slave become the queen of the kingdom? Chioma, now dressed in a beautiful royal clothes, stood tall and proud beside her prince. The people who had maltreated her were bowing before her. The wedding was grand, with drummers, dancers, and feasts that lasted for days. Chioma was crowned the queen, and she ruled with kindness and wisdom. As for her uncle and his family, they were ashamed and humiliated. They returned to their village in silence, knowing that their wickedness had come back to haunt them. And so Chioma, who lived a life of suffering, became a queen. She never forgot her humble beginning and always treated everyone with kindness, just as her parents had taught her.